Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where are my socks? Honey, where?
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like
Fucker! You fucker! Hey, fucker!
Oh!
Huh? What the f?
Hello again, everyone. This is Bionic Slime. I am your online voice for reviews of your choice, and this is another installment of BS Reviews. Today, I'll be reviewing a lesser-known anime series, and it's actually a true tragedy that this anime series has been pretty much forgotten and been pushed out of the back of everyone's mind, because this is probably one of the more unique and original animes I've seen, at least in terms of the story concept. There's not really quite another anime series like that, and that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I'll be reviewing the anime series known as Kino's Journey. Kino's Journey is brought to you by ADV Films and was directed by Ryutaro Nakamura. It stars Cynthia Martinez as Hermes the Motorrad and Kelly Cousins as Kino. I know what you're wondering, where are the other voice actors? Well, there aren't really any other voice actors. Strange as it sounds, these are the only two characters in the entire series that reoccur in every single episode. I know that sounds strange, but you'll understand once you hear the plot. The plot of Kino's Journey. Kino's Journey follows the mysterious travelings of a young traveler girl. Yes, you heard me right, that's a girl, it's not a boy, even though even the characters in the anime tend to confuse her for one. Follows a mysterious traveler girl named Kino and her talking motorcycle or motorrad known as Hermes. She travels around the country, just basically traveling for the sake of traveling, going from different town to different country, learning about the various cultures, traditions in each and every place she visits, and learning more about herself as she continues to basically just travel about the planet in order to basically see all she can and learn all she can from everyone. She's a very mysterious, lonely, and yet satisfied girl who lives her life as a free-form, free-based traveler who loves doing nothing but traveling. Review the plot. When I first saw and heard of this anime, I honestly thought that it kind of seemed like a dead ripoff for King of the Bandit Jing. And even after seeing that, in a way, I still kind of think it is. I don't know for this for a fact, but it does seem like either the animators or the character designers or the writers or someone definitely took a couple cues from King of the Bandit Jing. Or maybe they maybe they worked on the same show together, same people. I don't know. Kino's Journey is a lot like King of the Bandit Jing's, silent stepsister, but very different in much as ways as it is very alike. The nice thing about Kino's Journey is that while it does follow the similar theme of King of the Bandit Jing, having a character who looks almost exactly the same, going from different themed towns, the interesting thing about Kino's Journey is that it's less more on the fantasy as it is with King of the Bandit Jing, whereas it is more on the real essence of the story and the morals. Each town has a unique little history and a unique problem that is making them extremely happy because they're following such faithful traditions, but at the same time making them sad because it's a contradictory little event that's just basically ruining their lives. This anime works kind of like a living, breathing Robert Frost poem, or just a poem in general. It's very beautiful, very mysterious, and yet very contradicting. Things don't seem to make sense, yet they do make sense in a very beautiful way. It's very hard to describe, as is the feeling for this series, because it leaves you with an almost constant sense of depression, and yet you don't really feel sad about it as you watch it. It's an impossible feeling to really describe, and it's an impossible anime to really describe, because each episode you get a new town with a new problem that just seems so outlandishly bizarre, and yet strangely enough compassionately interesting that you want to know more about. And it really helps to the fact that these characters that we're following stay consistently on as travelers, because we are following them along the journey, and what they see is what we see. It's a very ingenious way in getting audience members enthralled into the story. You're watching along with them. And just like whenever, like in Hellboy, when you introduce a new character who's new to the Force, you're following that guy's journey as he's new to this new surroundings just as much as you are. So it's a really good way to do that. And I have to say, much like a poem, the writing here is simply beautiful. It's simple and yet extremely intelligent. I mean, it's very sad at the same time, but it's just so well written, so clever, so sharp, and yet so poignantly deep that you can't help but appraise the genius intellect that was put into these ironic little writings and scenarios for these bizarre little towns that are just filled with dramatic irony, sadness, and yet completion. Review the characters. As I said before, Kino and Hermes are travelers. This is all about them. They're the only actors or characters who stay consistently in every single episode. Everyone else is just pretty much a guest appearance. Now, as for the characters, as far as we're following them, I kind of say they're actually not that interesting, or at least they're not portrayed that interesting. They have enough of a personality that we can watch them, but not that I would say that it goes any really deeper. Kelly Cousins does a good job as Kino. I think her voice really matches the appearance of Kino and really works well with the mood that she generates throughout the show. I really think she fits the kind of mellow attitude that Kino constantly has, and it really shows in her subtle approach to the character's voice. Cynthia Martinez as Hermes was good. She plays a good griper, good complainer and whiner, and she makes a nice foil to Kino. As characters, they work really well in their concept. I mean, just being travelers, so we're following them around, so of course it fits well with them. But in truth, they don't really go too much far into development, and in a way, it's kind of a letdown, considering we're watching just them and them alone to the whole thing. And the other characters that they bring in through each episode are always different, unique, and interesting, so it's impossible to really judge them because there's too many varieties, and it's really best just to see them for yourself in the other characters' regard. Review the animation and music. Animation is, best word to describe it would be plain. It's very soft, very round, not too bulgy, not too, jagged, not too anything really. It's very ordinary. It's kind of good, it's kind of bad, because while it works for the characters, we don't need anything too complex by looking at them. But for everything else, sometimes it ends up looking like it's coming off way too bland, and you just wish for a little more creativity in how they did it. But it's not bad. It's not to the point where it's bothering you as you're watching it. You can't physically watch it because of it. Music was excellent. The music knew exactly when it was needed and when it was not needed. The opening and ending themes are absolutely beautiful, and I just thought they have such touching melodies that I completely admire and just could never get enough hearing with. This show really knew how to use its music, with its scenes, with its drama, well. It's a well-balanced show that knows every time, with every episode, even though you think you've seen it all before, every episode manages to become almost another near tearjerker and just make you so sad and yet so satisfied by knowing that an anime can touch you that deeply and that effectively, emotional and psychological wise. And that's a very hard anime to come by, if you ask me. Flaws about Kino's journey. As I said before in a couple other things, Kino's journey has very bland animation. It's not terrible, but it's nothing really to, praise about. I mentioned also that the characters don't really grow, and that to me is a really kind of a big issue, mainly because it's a shame because you watch them for everything, since they're the only consistent characters for the whole series, and it's a shame that they never go any farther deeper. But I think the biggest problem with Kino's journey is that while some of these stories are very deep and moving, like a poem, as I said it is, at times, like poems, they don't make sense. These people have some situations where you just want to go scratch your head and go, what the frick is wrong with you? Why don't you move? Why don't you leave these towns? Some of their problems come off as very deep. Some of them just kind of come off as very frickin' stupid, and you don't know why they're sitting here living in this hellhole. I mean, it's weird because it's contradictory. It makes sense for some episodes, but other times the plots are just like, what the hell is wrong with you? It makes no sense why you would do these things or why you would live in this place knowing what's going through your mind, and it just makes you go, what? So that's one problem with it. The biggest one, if you ask me. Final wrap-up, Kino's journey is not a perfect anime. anime. The plain animation, lack of deeper character development down the line, and the fact that the stories kind of make you go, what? And they make you just contradict themselves, wondering why they would do such a thing, does make you scratch your head in a little bit of irritation. However, there is so much more, better qualities of this show that it's impossible for me to let those negative qualities overcome the good ones. You have magnificent storytelling on the most epic and beautiful poetic way I have ever seen. It's deep, it's meaningful, and you got great actors with Kino and Hermes voice actresses. You have a good way of storytelling here with some deep problems. Really makes you think. It's an anime that not many people know about and really should, in my opinion. Bottom line, I give Kino's Journey 3 stars and a half out of 5. Well, that's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for listening, and bye for now.